So linear intercepts, if we look at our graph, are where our line crosses both the x-axis and the y-axis. So our intercepts, again, is where our line, or our function, crosses the x and y axis. X-axis, again, is our horizontal line. Our horizontal axis, our y-axis is on our vertical. So again, x-intercept, where we cross the x-axis, y-intercept, where we cross our y-axis. So we can find these very easily by looking at a graph. Again, we just see where our function or our relation crosses those axes. So in this case, our y-axis or our y-intercept is at y equals -1. We have put that as a point. Our x value is 0, our y value is -1. And then our x-intercept is at the point, and over 3 spots. So it's at 3, 0. So again, x-intercept, y-intercept. Our y-intercept, our x value has to be 0. Our x-intercept, our y value has to be 0. Again, our second one, find the x and y intercepts, write the intercepts as coordinate points. So our y-intercept on this case for our second one is at 3. So 0, 3 for our y-intercept. For our x-intercept, we are at 2, 0. Okay. We can also find our intercepts using the equation, right? So since our x-intercepts have the form of our value, our x value, and our y of 0, we can find the x-intercepts by plugging in 0 for y and solving for x. Okay? So since our x-intercepts have the form of blank 0, right? So in the case for both of these, we can plug in 0 for y, and then solve for x. Okay. And if this is true to find our x-intercepts, the opposite is going to be true to find our y-intercepts. So since our y-intercepts have the form of 0 for our x value and whatever our y value is, we can find our y-intercepts by plugging in 0 for x and then solving for y. Okay. So for our y-intercept, replace the y, so plug in 0 for x, and then solve for y. Okay. So again, just the opposite. So let's do that for these two examples, right? So let's find the x-intercept for the equation. So our equation is -2x plus 3y is equal to 6. So again, x-intercept first, we want to plug in 0 for x or plug in 0 for y. So 3 times 0 is going to give me 0, so we're left with -2x is equal to 6. Divide by -2. X is equal to -3. Again, an easy way to think about it is if we're plugging in 0 for y, we can just cover up our y value and whatever it is being multiplied by. So if we did that from the beginning, -2x is equal to 6, divided by -2, we get that -3. And then again, for the y-intercept, plug in 0 for our x value, then solve for our y value. So again, same idea, same problem. We're plugging in 0 for x. Again, we can essentially just cover it up. So we're left with 3y equals 6. Divide by 3. we get y equals 2. Now again, remember these are points, so our x-intercept is really -3, 0, and our y-intercept is 0, 2. So let's look at our next examples. Okay. So it says find the x and y-intercept, and then use them to graph the equation. So our first equation, we have y equals -2x plus 3. So we can find our x-intercept first by replacing y with 0. And then solving for x. So to solve for x, we want to subtract 3. So we have -3 equals -2x. Then divide by -2. 3x equals 3/2. And again, this is our x-intercept, so it's going to be the point 3/2 and 0. And then we're going to do the same thing for our y-intercept. So to find y, we're going to set x equal to 0. -2 times 0 is going to leave us with 3. And again, this is our y-intercept, so it's at the point 0, 3. So now we have our 2 points, right? We have our 2 x-intercept and our y-intercept, so we can graph them. So our y-intercept is at 0, 3, so 0 on the x-axis, 3 on our y. And our x-intercept is at 3/2, so 1/2. So we've got 2 points, and that's all the points we need to draw a linear function, to draw a line. There's my graph. All right, so then let's do the same thing for our second equation. So this time we have x minus 3y is equal to -9. Let's use the cover-up trick. It works really well when we're in standard form. So if we want to find our x-intercept first, all we have to do is cover up the values that are attached to y. So our x-intercept in this case is -9. Is at the point -9, 0. Okay. Our y-intercept, again, if we cover up the x value, again, we're plugging in 0, so any value multiplied by 0 is going to be 0. Just cover it up. So we're left with -3y is equal to -9. So to solve for y, divide by -3. We're going to get y is equal to +3. Now remember, that's the y value. Our x value is 0. So we're at the point 0, 3. Okay. So my x-intercept, -9, I did that in the wrong direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're at, again, +3. All we need is 2 points. we can connect that line. Okay. And again, slope-intercept form, identify the slope and the y-intercept. Our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, m being the slope, b being the y-intercept. So again, first thing, it says identify the slope and the y-intercept of y equals 2x plus 3. So what is our slope going to be for that one? What is our slope? 2. And our y-intercept is at 3. I should say 0.03. And again, same thing for our next one. Identify the slope and the y-intercept. Our slope is the value or the coefficient that goes with x, so negative 1/5, and our y-intercept, negative 2, or the 0.0, negative 2. This one, they put it in standard form, so we have y minus 7x equals 8. So if we put this into slope-intercept form, we can add 7x over. So we get y equals 7x plus 8. So our slope is going to be 7, and our y-intercept at 0, 8. Do you have any questions?